Live from the studio of his parents' basement, the Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Krause. But before we begin, if you guys can please be sure to smash the like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single week. So with that said, Cash, what are we reviewing today?
Very excited about this one, Mason. Is it 2 years in a row now that we have gotten a Guillermo del Toro movie?
I think it is.
It is.
Yeah,
and like
pretty sure
3 out of the last probably 5 years because we had Shape of Water as well.
Shape of Water was phenomenal.
But Guillermo del Toro's first animated film is what we're talking about today, Pinocchio. We get a new Pinocchio about once every year. Someone comes out with Pinocchio.
Yes.
But this is Guillermo del Toro we're talking about here. So if anyone's going to do a great job, it's going to be him, right?
And I think even saying that it was a great job is an understatement. I think this is one of the best animated films I've ever seen.
It is. It really is.
It blew me away.
A work of art. It's amazing. Yeah.
And the story, too, like to take an original story that's been done so many times, time and time again, and so many people have failed to do it. So many. But, like, for him to take this story...
I'd say Disney's the only one to ever do, and it's...
The original, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the
well,
remake,
that's not the original.
Well, yeah, obviously not. But I mean, like, what everyone thinks about. And then, you had that one come out in the 80s and 90s, and then you had
the live-action one with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
All of them have just fallen short for me. But this one was just the way he took the story, the original story, and just kind of intertwined it into, obviously during World War II, fascism with... Mussolini and everything else, and so much tragedy throughout this entire story.
Yeah, that was really the best part of it, was kind of making it, putting in a political landscape like Guillermo has done before with like Pan's Labyrinth and stuff like that. But yeah, because usually it's in the 1800s, but he puts it in 1930s fascist Italy under the rule of Mussolini, and Mussolini's even in the movie.
He is in the movie, and he's a cameo.
He's funny looking. He's
he does
very adorable.
Exactly what a fascist does. Don't like your show? Shoot him.
That was hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
But yeah, really good. The animation though, or the claymation, I should say, is incredible. It's some of the best I've seen, and it's from a place in Portland. What was it? Out of Shadowbox or something? I can't remember what the studio's called. But
that's pretty awesome.
But super cool. That's definitely going to put them on the map, because this has got to be, I mean, I'd put money on it that this is going to be Del Toro's second Academy Award. He's got to win for Best Animated this year.
And not just like winning awards and stuff, but I mean, we're at the tail end here, Cash, of our 2022 recap and our favorite top 10 films. And I'm telling you right now, this is guaranteed to at least hit my top 3.
Oh, for sure.
That's how much I like this film.
Shadow Machine is the company in Portland that did all of the claymation, which is amazing.
And I thought the voiceover work was done brilliantly as well. I loved Ewan McGregor playing Jiminy Cricket, which I know it's not Jiminy Cricket, but you get what I'm saying. Sebastian J. Cricket.
Yeah. So many good good voice actors. I mean, from really good actors as well. But Cate Blanchett did a great job. She played the monkey, which is hilarious.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
What was the monkey's name? I was trying to look it up.
Spazatura.
Yes. Which is amazing. Tim Blake Nelson played the Black Rabbits. Christoph Waltz played Count Volpe. Tilda Sprin played the Wood Sprite.
And how about Ron Perlman? Ron Perlman as Podesta, which is a very small role, but it was the fascist guy.
But if you have a Del Toro movie, you have to have Ron Perlman in there.
Of course. It'd be insulting if you didn't.
It's not a movie without...
But one other actor I'd like to talk about is I thought the voice of Pinocchio, Gregory Mann, this child actor, did a really good job. I love the voice of Pinocchio as well. It had that innocence to it, and kind of like, oh, I'm a new life, I'm a new boy, not really understanding... the things like death and what a burden is, and school and all these different kind of things. I thought that kid did a really good job voicing Pinocchio.
He did an amazing job. A great singer too. There's some great songs. It is a musical. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that going into that it was going to be a musical, but I enjoyed it. Some great songs, some sad ones too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was incredible. The story is amazing. just a great story about father and son and what that's about, you know? It's a very tragic story as well.
Well, yeah, the opening.
And really, like I said, I think this is the best version of Pinocchio we've ever seen.
Yes.
For sure. Because it gives such a good reason of why this old man would make a wooden child doll without it being creepy at all. It gave real purpose to what he's doing, you know? I feel like in all the other Pinocchio stories, he's just kind of randomly doing this, you know, making children out of dolls.
Well, and what they did so well is Guillermo del Toro, the way he orchestrated like the loss of Carlo, his real biological son, in a very, very tragic bombing. And I love how they told that story too, of how that wasn't even planned attack. They were just unloading their bombs on their flight home.
Brutal.
And, you know, to have Carlo get blown up in the church because he went back to go grab his acorn, the perfect acorn. And
to grow the perfect tree.
To grow the perfect tree. And unfortunately, he blew into bits, I should say.
It was the pits, though.
It was the pits, yeah. But it was really, really sad to open this film up. And then, you know, obviously Geppetto dealing with the loss of his son, the guilt associated with that, and turning into a complete alcoholic, you know, depressed alcoholic who's alone. Very dark for a PG film, too.
So good, though. I mean, you know, you can't hide those things, I don't think, from kids, you know. It's the real world, you know. Mm-hmm. So I love when they don't pull punches for kids movies. You know, kids can take it, okay? You don't got to baby them. You know, kids can't take it. There are drunks in the world, and this is a good reason to, you know, hit the bottle as well. But but yeah, I love that they didn't hide that, and I would have loved this film as a kid too, because I always liked the films that that treated kids like people instead of, you know, objects.
Well, and then even the way they introduced Sebastian J. Cricket made a lot of sense too, because he was just living in this tree, a little, you know.
Yeah,
and
just writing his book.
Right, yeah. And then he's hearing this old man constantly weep and sorrow over Carlo. And then he gets so drunk, he comes up with this idea, I'm going to bring you back, Carlo. I'm going to make you. And he cuts down Sebastian J. Cricket's home. And that's how that whole story kind of comes together. I just loved, there was no holes in this story where I was like, hey, I could pull it. Oh, this is dumb. Oh, this doesn't make sense. Everything was so well thought out in the writing of the story that it really just blew me away. When I couldn't poke a single hole in anything, that's when you know it's very well written.
Oh, for sure. And the pacing is amazing too in the story, because it just moves from one place to another perfectly. And it's not like, oh, they just had to do that to get to the here, like they get to the water and whatnot. It was all written perfectly, and the transitions were just amazing, really well thought out. You know, it's Guillermo del Toro though. He's the best of the fucking best.
We expect nothing less. At this point.
But yeah, it was incredible, and it's like it's almost like a travel film, you know, like a road trip film.
Journey,
you know, because he goes to so many different places.
Hero's journey, even.
Oh, it's definitely a hero's journey. But yeah, I loved it. And like you said, putting it in 1930s fascist Italy, it's a great backdrop. And it makes it really fucking funny, too. When he's talking about making him the perfect fascist boy.
Yeah, the soldier, and his son's just sitting there like, oh, I wish I could live forever.
I wish I could be the perfect.
I wish I could be the perfect fascist.
And when he died, too, those were my favorite parts. That was so fucking cool, of the rabbits carrying him. Those were fucking cool, man. It seemed like a very twisted, dark fairy tale of like hell or wherever you go. Which we know
Del Toro's great at that.
Of course,
he did it in Pan's Labyrinth as well. But
amazing. I love the rabbits carrying him in, and
I love the them always playing cards, and they're like, "I'm back, it's Pinocchio." They're like, "Yes, we know you're back for like the fourth time."
Yeah, and I love that whole bit of him not being able to die either. It was hilarious.
He's like loving it.
He's like, "Are you scared?" He's like, "No, I died a few times already." Yeah. And like the angel thing too,
I love the design
was incredible.
Of it.
The design was awesome of both of them too. Even like the wood sprite or the blue fairy is what it usually is, but that thing looked like almost alien, or like you know how the Bible has like a direct description of angels, and they look wild.
Yeah, it's like 13 wings,
and like a million eyes and everything. Like that's what I kind of got the feeling of.
Well, and that's something else about this film that just blows me away, is the fact that we know the story of Pinocchio. We know all kind of the stopping points and going points of this entire journey, yet each individual segment of this film felt completely unique and different, even though that same element was still there. We still knew it.
Exactly. We said we've seen Pinocchio so many fucking times. Like, it's so hard for me to give a fuck anymore about Pinocchio until you attach Guillermo del Toro to it. Then, I'm all in. But yeah, because everything was done differently, instead of being the Blue Fairy, it was a wood sprite. Instead of being a whale, it was a dogfish, like a mutated giant dogfish.
I like that a lot, though.
It was so cool because it was giant. It had a lighthouse in it. It was fucking super cool.
And I like those small little details about that fish that, Geppetto was inside of it. They were all inside of it. And he goes, well, this thing only comes up once every decade to soak in the sun and then goes back deep down into the sea. That was believable to me because I go, what kind of fish is this?
Probably my hardest laugh was when he hires the ship captain, and he tells them all about how if they go out there, they're going to die 100%. And they go, and like the dogfish, and the ship captain's crazy, too. He's got a big hook for it. He goes, Avita Derche. He just throws himself into the water.
Falls over. Classic.
I fucking loved it. But yeah, it's everything. It's Pinocchio with Del Toro's spin on it, and it was perfect. It's a perfect story for Del Toro, too. Because it's kind of creepy in its own right. It's got weird shit in it. But for him, the art design and everything was just amazing.
Yeah, I love the stop motion or claymation, whatever you want to call it. It was just, it was very, again, I keep going back to this word unique, but it really was unique in every sense of it. And I just, like last night, it bugged me because I was watching it last night and I was so tired. And I was like,
I had to watch it this morning.
And then and then I had to wake up and then just kind of rewatch and finish it. And I'm so glad I did because last night I was loving it. I just ended up falling asleep. And then today it was really great to finish this film. I want to talk about Count Volpe too.
Yeah, I was going to talk about him too as well. Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, and
great bad guy.
It was a really good bad guy, and it was a very believable.
Second time playing a fascist.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because
typecast.
Because of Inglourious Bastards. He plays the Jew hunter. But yeah,
do you know who
he's getting good at it?
Yeah. Do you know who the voice of Geppetto was? I thought he did a really good job. He's the bastard in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and he's Filch in Harry Potter.
He is Filch in Harry Potter as well. Also grumpy in that.
He is so great, man. He's
David Bradley.
Yeah, David Bradley. Yeah, definitely a great character actor that does not get enough attention for sure. He was great. And he had a large voice role in this as well. Did a great job. A great voice actor.
And in a lot of range, too, for Geppetto. Happy moments, very depressing and sad moments, and I thought he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, like you said, it had predictable arcs. Like, you knew where he was going, but it just seemed so fresh. Like, you knew the riff was going to happen between Geppetto and Pinocchio, but it was so heartbreaking when he told him he was a burden. And like it played so well. It was great. It was great. Just the writing was amazing.
It was. And even like the school scenes, Pinocchio's all excited to go to school even though he doesn't really understand what it is. And then for Count Volpe or Volpe, whatever, however you pronounce it, to show up and then completely manipulate Pinocchio and have him sign. I love the contract that's just so long. That reminds me of like the terms and agreements that you go to click on. You're just like, I'm not reading this. I guess
Count Volpe invented terms and agreements. He invented that old griff. Yeah, he was great. All the bad guys, there's a couple good bad guys in this. But Ron Perlman as Podesta, the fascist leader, his job is just to recruit young men into the army.
He was doing a good job. Let me say, he had a lot of young men.
A lot of young men. Yes, he did. But I love those scenes too when they go to like the boot camp or whatever. It's
they got like paintball guns.
It's fun, but it's brutal as well,
And it's also very sad.
And they don't shy away that these kids are gonna go to die.
Yeah. And that's why it's really sad, and that's why like. And then you think about World War II, you think about like fighting in the trenches, especially in World War I, which was much more prevalent. But this was kind of that new age where they were moving into
World
technology.
War II sucked just as much.
Well, of course it did.
It was horrible.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like that trench warfare and that turn from technology between World War I and World War II was actually on display here because they were still doing trench warfare and the training. But then you also had the technological side of things like the bombs, the tanks, and everything coming into World War II.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene was really cool. It was really heartbreaking, too, between Podesto and
his son?
His son.
Well, Podesto kind of deserved it. I think he was going to shoot his kid.
100% he was. He had to. For Italy.
Right.
For Italy. For the pride of the country. Mussolini. I loved it. I love the design of Mussolini, too. Little guy with a big, giant chin.
Okay, so funny.
So
because
hilarious.
I mean, obviously, and it's good that
and he was
this,
like,
but clearly mocking his figure
100%.
and everything.
And he's like, and his intelligence for sure. He was like, nothing. I like puppet.
And then he's like, I don't like these puppets.
He goes, poop? He goes, yes, poop. Yeah.
Kids loved it, though. They were having a good time with the show.
Oh,
they were all cheering.
Poop, of course.
They think it's hilarious.
That's much better than propaganda that they were being fed before that.
They're like, finally a break.
I know, the same goddamn song. But yeah, great. And like the transition, like I was saying, of like going from the boot camp into the water to like meet with Geppetto as well was just so well written that it was flawless. It didn't feel cheap of getting them into the water.
You know what else that I really liked about this film too is I never felt like anyone was safe. So like I ended up really liking the monkey, Spazzatura, because obviously this animal was abused severely, and yes, he was saved by Count Volpe, but at the same time, he's abused constantly, and you feel bad for him. But throughout this film, I was like, oh, at any time, Spazzatura could die, or Sebastian J. Cricket could die. I really never felt like anyone was truly safe. Even Geppetto, when he fell, I was like, what the? They're going to kill off Geppetto?
Except for Pinocchio. I felt like Pinocchio was safe.
After the fourth resurrection, I was like, Pinocchio's safe.
This guy's not dying. And I love the writing between, like, I don't know, I guess the angel of death and like the angel of life or whatever. They're like sisters or whatever. And they're doing things like against each other's wishes because she was pissed that she created this boy out of wood or whatever and gave him eternal life. But I loved the writing of like eternal life comes with eternal suffering, which means you will. And she told him to this too, and it's just crazy. Again, to be in a kids movie, heavy stuff,
very heavy.
But this is not. It's not. I shouldn't say it's a kids movie because that kind of demeans it. But it's a family film for everyone, kids and adults too.
When you could let your kids watch this film, I don't think anything was too over the line.
Well, I'm just saying it gets very philosophical at times with like. How happy he was to have eternal life, and then to realize that he'll watch everyone he knows die, and there will always be suffering, because with life comes suffering, and that's what the angel tells her. Beautifully written.
Yeah, it really was.
A lot to take in for old Pinocchio, just a child who's been only alive for about a week or two at this point.
It is a lot to take in, but you got to learn fast, because you're a boy right away, as soon as your existence happens. Yeah. And at the end of the film, too, it didn't shy away from it. Again, Geppetto passes away.
Yeah, a great ending, though.
It really was. Sebastian J. Cricket.
But he always holds him in his heart.
Okay, so that was really funny, because I was like, so he puts him in a little matchbox, and he goes, and then he kept me. And I was like, what? Yeah. In my heart. I was like, okay, that's kind of good. But if he just kept him in his pocket at all times, just shaking the thing around.
He's a lucky cricket. You could do that.
You could.
Keep him around forever.
And
he was pretty lucky. He sacrificed his wish.
That is true.
Which is nice, because doesn't usually Pinocchio get the wish at the end? I always feel like that's... Because the whole thing usually is for Pinocchio to be a real boy. Mm-hmm. But in this one, they kind of flipped it around where old
Jimmy.
Sebastian.
Yeah, or Sebastian. I keep going. I keep wanting to say Jiminy.
Well, that J could be Sebastian Jiminy Cricket.
Right.
Yeah. But, I love that. I love that, the sacrifice. Honestly, his wish, though, was just to be published. Which you can make happen anyways. He didn't even try. He didn't send it to a single publisher.
But, it's real hard to read cricket writing because it's just so small.
But how many people aren't going to publish a story written by a cricket? It's a seller. It's a hot seller.
Oh, it's a New York Times bestseller.
You tell me there's a book out there, I'm going out to buy it. Yeah. His memoirs, too, nonetheless. And a great adventure he went on.
Yeah, really fun time.
It'd be a great story. It'd be a great story.
Another thing, too, that I got to bring up is, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little worried when I went to Netflix and I clicked on this film, and I was like, oh my goodness, this film is 2 hours and 1 minute for an animation?
Longest stop motion movie ever.
Wow, broke the record.
Yeah, longest ever. I mean, they're never, because they take so much time to do.
Yeah.
Moving frame by frame by frame, it's so fucking tedious.
When I think that's why it took quite a few years, because we have been talking about
this was canceled at one point, and then Netflix said... they ended up bringing it into Guillermo, and what a great partnership that's been. Have you watched Cabinet of Curiosities at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's like a anthology show produced by Guillermo del Toro. Each story is a different story. It's really good. the guy from Mandy, the director of Mandy, does one segment. You gotta
watch
it.
I bet it's great.
It's the craziest episode, man. It's really good at Cabinet Curiosities. But yeah, it's been a great partnership, I think, for Guillermo, who struggles to find funding for his films.
And Netflix is a great place for him too, you know. And not only that, but like we have talked about this time and time again. Netflix has horrible films all the time,
but
for them to get Guillermo del Toro and to be able to sign him, I mean, this is one of my favorite films this year, and it's on.
Yeah,
Netflix.
I know. Yeah,
is this real life? This is 2022.
This is just a no-brainer. You know, you're gonna spend all that money, spend it on a great director.
Make less movies better.
Yeah. Quality over quantity. We can't stress that enough. But
seriously.
But yeah, man, this has been it was so good. I can't wait to see what they do next too. I know he has like a multi-picture deal with Netflix too. Now Netflix needs to start, because this came out in theaters as well. This was in some theaters.
Oh, it was?
Yes, it was.
Limited release?
Yeah, and it was a big deal. It was a big story for them to do that. So I hope maybe they'll start doing that a little bit more.
Yeah. That would be good. I'd be very excited for that.
And give Del Toro money to do Hellboy 3. For the love of God, while we still have Ron Perlman.
So yeah, there's nothing on the wiki page. There's anything coming up for Del Toro here after Pinocchio is the last one, and then the show that you just brought up, Cabinet of Curiosities. But I'm very excited for his future projects.
He works pretty hard though. I mean, I feel like he's always doing something. He is the most canceled though. As far as like films go and projects, he's had so many projects canceled. It is crazy.
Very unfortunate.
It is wild, yeah. He's a great director. He's one of the best.
Yep.
Love him. Love this film. This film has crazy reviews right now too. If you go to Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, I want to know the reviews on this.
Wait, guess first.
I would be appalled. I'd be appalled if this wasn't high 90s.
Okay, good.
I'd be really upset because this might be my favorite movie this year. Pinocchio, 98%.
Yeah.
Wow.
98%.
85% audience score.
I know.
That's strange.
Bastards.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand how you wouldn't like this film. But maybe some parents had their kids, you know, and then, there's drinking, and it was too dark for them, and then they got upset about it and gave it a bad review.
Drinking, there's death, it's a little political, philosophical.
But really just such a well-done animated film. I can't quit giving it praise. I really can't.
Yeah, amazing.
All right, well, do we have anything else on this?
No, I would definitely recommend it, though. It's a great film to come out during Christmas time as well, because you can watch it with, you know, like I said, the entire fucking family.
I'm probably gonna make like a little mini Instagram video and post it, just like telling everyone, you got to watch this video, or you got to watch this film, because it is worth it. And I want good film like this to be watched and viewed by people. I want Del Toro to make more films. Sure. I want Netflix to, when they see...
An Oscar win would be huge. I mean, for Netflix and Del Toro. Yes. You know, that would be huge. But I don't...
Animation, it's got to be almost a lock, right? At least for a nom.
Well, it's fucking Encanto this year, too.
No, but I mean a nomination.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. At least a nomination.
That was the whole reason of it coming out in December. It has to be, but... yeah, for sure. So funny, Tom Kenny, the voice actor of SpongeBob, plays Benito Mussolini.
That's tremendous. Well, wide range, apparently.
Oh, and he plays a sea captain, which is hilarious.
Oh. The one that goes overboard?
Yeah. All right, absolutely recommend it. It was incredible. Very good. I'll be watching it again for sure.
100%. Yeah, this is actually one I'll rewatch with someone because it's that good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everyone. That is our review for Pinocchio. If you like what you're seeing here, please be sure to smash the like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single week. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.